22 minutes of battery power left on the camera. Haven't made a video for a while. This is my new... It's my male corset, my man corset. It's my new favourite thing. So I'm wearing that now permanently. And then another thing I got was this thing, which is a posture corrector which you wear around the back. And then that's my old back support, which still use from time to time. Still using all the different oils. I've got my magic bag of oils. There's actually a hat, CBD stuff in here. Nice to have nice and neat and tidy place to put all these great things. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, I'm definitely feeling the most benefit from this, which I'm also sleeping with it. Sleeping with it on, yeah. And whenever I do any other exercises, I feel like it's... Well, I've been getting sort of, I wouldn't call them shivers. They're more like energy releases, like I've had before. Like if you're massaging yourself and you feel like a muscle, like a knot, slowly releasing, or helping a muscle not release, but on a different level, like I've mentioned before. Subdermal, some sort of scarring, deep tissue trauma, all kinds of different memories. So essentially I'm not actually fat, and I've never actually been fat. That's the thing. It's actually I was damaged, so I have this trauma which I'm releasing, and these supports help you do that. It's quite fascinating though, growing up, and you know, you play these different adventure games and you have all these magic items, like I think they're called bracers. So they're like braces of protection or things like this. So I mean, this one here literally is called, I think it actually says it on it somewhere. Yeah, like it says brace up. So the bracers, basically, that's what I'm using. Magical bracers. So they're now protecting me. Depending on which ones I use at which time, they're now protecting me from what I need to be protected from. I don't necessarily even need to think about it anymore. You know? That's the great thing about magic items. They just work by themselves. So I'm doing a lot of that, and I've got my ankle support and my knee support on my right leg, so I've been getting quite deep into what feels like some sort of muscular twist, or again, leftover muscular trauma, which doesn't affect my ability to walk. I can still walk, or even my ability to run or cycle, but my ability to do exercise for a long period of time definitely affects that. And I've been needing to do the cycling in order to sort out my glutes. So I think by doing that I may well have slightly aggravated my leg, because there may be this twist in the leg, on the right leg. But that's fine, because I can massage that free over time, and I've definitely done loads of work on my glutes, so they're feeling a lot better. So I'm feeling a lot better, and because I'm feeling a lot better, overall I'm feeling a lot better. So as you can see, healing work does work, especially if nobody actually listens to you, or maybe they can't actually listen to you because it's basically impossible for them to listen to you, because what you'd have to say to them is too complicated, long-winded and confusing, because your life has been that much full of head-fucking people. Yes, that's right. There's a particular kind of person that I seem to have encountered in my life a lot, and I would literally describe them as head-fucking people. And they basically go out of their way to cause an issue for you, but they do it in such a way as to almost like go to great lengths to make sure you don't realise that they're doing that, you know, which is quite fascinating. And I'm not sure if this is a Scottish thing. I know piss taking is obviously a very popular Scottish thing, which is quite fascinating, because if you look at the origins of piss taking, it actually goes back to the occult rituals of the Skull and Bones Society. They like to, I think it's they do a ritual where they lie down in a coffin and then they literally take a piss on each other in a coffin. Some sort of very immature, childish, kind of like teenage prank kind of style form of spirituality, if you want to call it that. Unfortunately, I think people don't realise that this has been spread around the planet, just like all these different beliefs about what's real and what isn't real, and who decides what is real and what isn't real, and what constitutes as evidence and what doesn't constitute as evidence. Because it's all about who maintains the narrative and who's in charge, therefore, of what is deemed reality. So while that's all going on, and people can argue back and forth, because essentially, if people aren't noticing already, that's what's happening. That's what always will be happening, because until we actually reach something called the truth, we will always argue back and forth. And the truth does exist. I would say the closest thing I've experienced to the truth is healing, but you'd have to experience that for yourself to know what I'm talking about. But that's the closest I've experienced to the truth, and that's been with me my whole life. So, you know, throughout the ups and downs and traumas and points of my life falling apart, I've still had healing with me throughout it. And you know, maybe I thought I'd healed all these different things. However, can you ever really truly heal a scar? So if someone comes along at a later date and traumatizes you in the same way as somebody else in the past that you have healed, that you've put a lot of work and focus into healing that trauma, but there's still scar material, for the next person to traumatize you in the same way, it's actually easier because there's still scar material. So that's why I'm doing all this deeper healing work now, because I want to try and actually remove the scar material as well, so that in the future, hopefully, there aren't these head-fucking people that I encounter, and they won't, because I think they're actually quite psychic, and maybe the problem is obviously in schools and everything, children being psychic seen as obviously children just play acting, because being psychic doesn't exist, obviously. And so I think a lot of these children that behave in this way are essentially acting out because they've been essentially treated like an idiot. And so what is essentially a gift they're given when they're born becomes a weapon against people. So they just act out and prove to people, whoever they meet, that they're more powerful, because they are actually very powerful people, because they're psychic. and that can be anybody they encounter in their lives because they've been mistreated as children. They'll basically act however they want because they can see through all the lies and the bullshit that the adults, apparently, who know what they're talking about and keep making the same mistakes as their parents and the parents before them and the parents before them, going back throughout history, still learning the same lessons, having not learnt them, because if you learn them, then you wouldn't have to repeat them. And so the next generation that's now here, funnily enough, not interested in that shit. And so they'll just behave however they behave, you know. And yeah, unfortunately, I've encountered some of these people myself. And if you encounter them, unfortunately, it may appear like they're actually doing it on purpose to you. But I don't actually think they even do it on purpose. I think it's just behaviour to them, and they can't help it, basically. As sad as that is. So the only way to deal with that is to basically become impenetrable yourself by not having any weaknesses. And that includes scar material. So you can heal yourself to a very deep level, but if you still have scar material, then potentially you may encounter someone who's capable of being psychic enough to know that you have scar material, and they will use that against you, so that they'll take you back deeper into that trauma again, because, well, I haven't figured out because yet. I'm not entirely sure if there's actually a reason why. You can go nuts sitting there trying to understand why shit things happen. You could spend your entire life trying to understand why shit things happen. But like I said, for me, the closest thing to the truth I've experienced is healing. And I've definitely healed loads of things already. But even through the healing process, that's brought up more stuff to be healed, and through healing one part of my body, another part of my body has been affected. Because our bodies aren't, all the different muscles aren't separate, they're all connected. So, you know, one part of your body can be compensating for another part of your body, so that when you heal a certain part of your body, the other one that was actually compensating for it is now then capable of healing as well. So healing can be a very complicated experience, especially when you're doing it all yourself, because nobody's interested in helping, and I don't think they're actually trained to help deeply traumatized people. I think they're only trained to help, oh, have you hurt your knee? Okay, well, this is what you do when you hurt your knee. Or, oh, have you broken your arm? Okay, this is what you do when you broke your arm. So they don't have the training to deal with, oh, this trauma and that trauma and this trauma and that trauma and this trauma and that trauma happened in your life, but you actually dealt with it most of your life, but then you had this gigantic trauma that then triggered all this other stuff and then connected all these other scar material, etc. They're never going to be able to understand that. Because for a start, I don't think they even believe healing happens. I think healing is something they believe people who think Reiki works and stuff believe in. And they obviously don't believe in that because, well, you know, you can't get it on the NHS, so obviously it's pseudoscience, obviously. So it's pointless having a conversation with someone who has no experience of healing, especially if they can't understand it for a more in-depth level. But whatever, I'm experiencing my experience. You'll probably experience your experience, most likely. But this is my one. Yes, it's been utterly head-fucking, and I don't really know what the truth is anymore. Actually, I think most of my disturbing experiences may well have been made up in my head, because unfortunately that's what happens when you have various trauma experiences happen at the same time. Things can actually get confused in your head, yeah, when you're traumatized that much. Oh, poor me. Traumatized that much that I actually get confused in my head and I can't tell what the truth is anymore. Oh. Oh. Yeah. So I'll maybe write a song about that one day. I'll call it Oh. Ding 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 ding. Oh. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Oh. What can you do other than make fun out of these experiences, so people realise that you're moving beyond their bullshit? You know? Oh yeah, and I definitely think that there's a intricate connection between the muscles in your face and your neck and your jaw and the other muscles in your body. Yeah. So I've had all this teeth clicky stuff for several years now. Not really getting much of that anymore. So explain that one to me. Or is that just my body naturally healing itself? So the things I've done to then help my body heal, they haven't done anything. No. And my face changing shape over the years, that's not healing taking place. No, there's no such thing. And everything I've done, including the various yoga positions, stretching, going for jogging, indoor cycling, I've even managed to do a bit of outdoor cycling, various kinds of diets and food supplements and medicinal mushrooms, and getting extra sleep when I can manage it, and reading lots of books, and even playing a few games like I'm a child again. That's been helpful. And don't forget all these amazing healing oils and all the other different research I've been doing at the same time, trying to wrap my head around what's going on for the planet at the moment, which is quite fascinating, trying to have a conversation about anything with anybody right now. But me and my mum, no problems. No problems. And I think the medicinal mushrooms are helping her too. They do actually deal with toxins in the body. So, you know, maybe there were extra toxins in these new experimental vaccines. So it could well be that these medicinal mushrooms are the cure to your experimental vaccines, because Mum's doing great. I'm doing great. She's had 2 vaccines. I've not had any. And neither of us are sick. So that means your narrative's wrong. Pretty obviously, if the whole main thing is unvaccinated people are a danger to vaccinated people. I've heard all kinds of very disturbing ideas of what science apparently is. So I don't know if anybody out there wants to wrap their head around what the actual truth is, but if you would like to, I'm making this video for everybody who does actually want to have an intelligent debate and is capable of having one with me without playing little mind control games. Yeah. Because I'm not really interested in those anymore. No doubt people will still keep playing them though. So there we go, that's my latest update for me. I do believe it's the 25th of the 5th, 2022, so that's lots of 2s and 5s, or 2s wavy lines anyway. Lots of wavy lines. Wavy lines. Yeah, like serpents. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. When you're working with your own healing process, I think primarily what happens is you get more and more in touch with your own inherent natural DNA. Yeah. The true self, which includes the true body self and the self on all the other levels, whether you think there's other levels or not. So, this is my truth. That's what the truth is to me. Obviously, you can be the judge yourself of that according to your own reality. But for me, that's the truth that I'm experiencing. Whether that's convenient to you or not. But yeah, I'm always interested to hear from anybody that is interested to being able to have a conversation that's capable of an actual conversation that is actually evolutionary on some level at least. That'd be great. Okay. Wow, what a very long healing process. You can't really decide how long it will take. It just takes however long it takes. So there you go. It takes however long it takes. Maybe that's part of the key to healing. Not being attached to it happening instantly. Snap your fingers. Everything's better. Have a wonderful day. May great forms and energy waves of healing be for you in the ways they need to be there for you in your life if you so wish. I would hope for all people to experience healing. So may healing take place for everybody. Thank you very much.